It's fair to say that God of War Ragnarok is one of the most anticipated games of all time. This is because God of War 2018 revolutionized how we see action-adventure games. Everything from the gameplay to the story was finally crafted to create an experience that many fans will remember the rest of their lives. So it's only natural to expect all of these things once again in the next game. Something else fans are dying to see is the conclusion of the Norse saga, Ragnarok, the battle between gods and giants that will reshape the Norse pantheon forever. It's been already confirmed that Thor, Odin, and many other important gods will be in the game. But what about the characters from Norse mythology that no one talks about? Will they make an appearance as well? In this video, I'm going to talk about the mysterious statue we see in Svartalfheim. Could this be one of the more obscure characters of Norse mythology? Today, you're going to find out.
My guess? Temporal magic. Dangerous stuff the high Vanir gods used to play around with. The ability to freeze time. Happened to be a favourite of Njord himself, in fact.
Hey, how's it going guys? Kaptain Kuba here. And first of all, I want to wish every single one of you guys a happy new year. I'm sure that if God of War Ragnarok releases in 2022, it will indeed be a great year. But if not, I wish you great health, I guess, and lots of money. Not as good as God of War, but oh well. Anyway, the topic I'm addressing today is the mysterious statue we got a glimpse of in Svartalfheim. Originally, I had thought this statue depicted Odin. To me, this was a reasonable theory given that Odin made a pact with the dwarves to keep the rovers of hell out of Svartalfheim in exchange of control of who enters their realm. Odin did this so Vanaheim couldn't form an alliance with the best weapon makers in the Norse pantheon. But something about this statue didn't scream Odin to me. Eric Williams described Odin as a modest god who's not really interested in the clothes he wears, nor the palace in Asgard.
It's a very different take, again, much like Thor. You know, he's like a old man who's just kind of busy with his own things and doing whatever he wants, and he doesn't live in a castle or anything like that. So it's again a different take, kind of what we do. We just take what's known and curveball it a little bit and make it special.
This description of Odin doesn't seem to match the statue we see in Svartalfheim. This man seems to command authority, all the while dressed with fine clothes. Also, his weapon doesn't seem to match the weapon Odin is depicted holding in the murals in God of War 2018. That being the spear Gungnir and a mysterious axe which I'll talk about in another video. So if this man is not Odin, who could it be? Well, I am happy to say that I believe a Twitter user by the name of Abdul Rehman has decisively answered this question, or at least provided the best theory for the time being. While replaying God of War 2018, Abdul Rehman noticed this engraved image. If we compare it side by side with the statue we see in Svartalfheim, you will notice how similar they are. Both depict a man proudly standing while holding a staff of some kind. But who is this man? Well, this engraved image was found in the town of Njord, a town known for worshipping the Vanir deity Njord. In Norse mythology, Njord is known as the god of the seas. Think of him as the Poseidon of the Norse pantheon. In the God of War universe, he's also a powerful magic user, and the father of Freya and Freyr. Mimir implies that gods like him have the ability to stop time itself. However, all Vanir deities decided to stop using this magic spell because stopping time did not stop the wolf Skull and Hati, but it did stop the sun and the moon, whose capture would bring the events of Ragnarok much closer than it had been prophesied. Now, the town of Njord was created by humans in Midgard and was destroyed when Thor killed the giant Thamur. As Thor dealt the final blow to the mighty giant, he fell on the town, and with his last breath, Thamur froze it forever. Now, why would the dwarves feel the need to worship Njord? Well, after the trailer was shown, this makes more sense than ever before. In lore and legends, Atreus gives us a few rumors as to what Svartalheim could possibly look like. In the book, he describes the realm being subterranean, but once we saw the realm in the trailer, these rumors were smashed to smithereens. Svartalheim looks like a second Midgard, with the only difference being that most of the water in Midgard can be found in one area, the Lake of Nine. While in Svartalheim, water can be found everywhere. Inside Durlin's home, we see all kinds of nautical equipment, including his pet squid. And even the main enemies Curse and Atreus will be fighting in this realm seem to be humanoid frog creatures, which I'll also talk about sometime later. With all of these references to water and the sea, it is no coincidence that the dwarves have built the statue in honor of the god who controls the waters and the seas. However, this seems to be a bold move from the part of the dwarves because, as I said before, Odin has entrusted Asgard to be Svartalheim's official custodian. And building a statue in honor of one of Odin's enemies might not bode well for the dwarves. But it could be that Odin simply doesn't care. Like Cory Barlog has said many times before, Odin is not Zeus. The king of the Greek gods wouldn't have hesitated to take revenge on anyone worshipping one of his enemies. But Odin, on the other hand, seems to be smarter than that, more cunning. Maybe as long as the dwarves don't form an alliance with the Vanir gods and continue making weapons for Asgard, he simply doesn't care whether they pray to Njord or not. This is why I don't think we'll see Njord or any Vanir deities in the realm of Svartalfheim. Odin and his army simply wouldn't let them enter the realm. But the good news about this statue is that we might possibly have another character confirmation on our hands. We know from lore and legends that Odin has infiltrated his soldiers in Vanir. This could result in a conflict between the two tribes of gods, which would inevitably lead Kratos and Atreus to help Njord and the other Vanir deities. Maybe this is how the character will be introduced to us. And who knows, maybe he will accidentally be the reason Ragnarok begins, as stopping time could result in the wolves Skull and Hati catching the sun and the moon. One thing is for sure though, I believe both of Njord's children will be villains in God of War Ragnarok. Freya for obvious reasons, and Freyr because he's the ruler of the Light Elves and we already saw Kratos fighting them in the trailer. But if you think about it, Freyr attacking Kratos and Atreus doesn't make much sense. Because in God of War 2018, Kratos was instrumental in giving the Light of Alfheim back to the Light Elves. So there's no actual reason for them to take revenge or anything like that. My best guess is that Freyr revealed to Kratos what his plans were, and Kratos deemed them to be evil or a hindrance to their adventure. This immediately made Kratos Freyr's enemy, and it's probably why we see him fighting Light Elves. This conflict could result in the death of Freyr, and maybe the addition of his sword to Kratos' arsenal, the Fable sword Sumarbrander, a sword that can fight by itself. I honestly can't wait to see how Santa Monica turns that concept into a mechanic. Now we don't know what Njord's reaction to the death of his son will be. We know all of Vanaheim despises Freya for marrying Odin, but Freyr on the other hand is beloved by all. So the death of his son might change the dynamic of Kratos and Njord's relationship, and according to Norse mythology, Njord is one of the few gods who survived the Battle of Ragnarok. Maybe he will be an ally to Kratos and Atreus, but by the end of the game he will be an enemy due to the death of his son. At this time, it is too early to theorize anything about this character. I'm just excited at the thought that he might make an appearance in the game. But what do you guys think about this topic? Could this be Njord? If you think it is, what do you think his role in the game will be? Whatever your thoughts are, make sure to leave them in the comments section below. Once again, I want to thank Abdul Rehman for sharing this awesome discovery with me. If you think you have found something as cool as this, make sure to follow me on Twitter @Kaptain Kuba or message me on Instagram. Can't wait to see your discoveries. As always, I want to thank every single one of my members for supporting the channel monthly. The reason I don't feel the need to have as many sponsors is because of people like Ezekiel Govender, Terence Jokovic, and Anhad Miglani, to name a few, make sure this channel stays afloat. I know I say this a lot, but I really couldn't do any of these videos without your support. I would also like to thank everyone who likes and shares my videos. It's a small action that has a big impact on the channel. So with that said, thanks for watching, and remember, go forth in the name of Ragnarok.